Do you struggle how to light yourself and your studio? Over the past 2 years, I've been studying and testing all about lighting, so I can achieve this result right here. And in this video, I'm going to show you what makes this lighting setup a must-have for a YouTube studio, the benefits of using it over other methods, and the exact steps to make it happen. It's right away. Hi, Mario here from MSpaceLog. Here I talk all about smartphone videography, growing on YouTube, and cool tech. So if you're new here, welcome aboard. If you've been here before, it's great to have you back. Now let's get into it. As I started to say, over the past few years I've been struggling to find a lighting setup that I'm truly comfortable with. That's why I want to share what I've learned so you can achieve great results faster without wasting time making the same mistakes I did. So, why do I consider this lighting setup essential for a YouTube studio? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the key features. This setup is all about making you look great on camera. While there are a lot of lights to choose from, I'll just go with 3. The key light, the fill light, and the background lights. The key light is your main light shining on you to keep you bright and clear. The fill light softens any shadows from the key light so your face looks smooth and even. The background lights adds color and depth, making your videos look more professional and engaging. Compared to other setups, this one is really effective and easy to use. Unlike more complicated setups that might require multiple light types and reflectors, this 3-light system gives you a professional look without the hassle. Plus, it is flexible enough and can be adjusted to fit different types of videos and shooting environments. Now, let's go over the types of lights you'll need to use. First, the key light. This light is usually a bright LED panel or softbox with a bright bulb that provides the main illumination. As a key light, I'm using the COB light from Neewer. I'm not going to get much detail because I did a full review of it in my previous video, which I'll leave a link to it in the description below if you want to check it out. This COB light, it's much more versatile and brighter than those kits with softboxes that work with light bulbs. But if you have one of those or even a DIY made one, don't worry because you can achieve a similar result as long as you use 2 mandatory accessories, this softbox and the honeycomb grid, but more on that later. Then comes the fill light. This is a softer light source like another LED panel, but with less intensity than the key light. Although this light might be optional depending on your preferences, it helps reduce shadows and smooth out the lighting on your face. As you may have seen in my previous videos, a fill light would have helped to get my face well lit and not so dark on the shadow side. I just didn't use it because I don't have much space for another C-stand and a softbox next to my camera. So I just opted to not use it and stuck with the 2-light system instead, a key light and the background lights only. But recently Zion sent me the Cinepeer CM15 light, and I've got to say, this has been a game changer. Because of that, I want to thank Zion for sending me a solution to my problem. As the name of this light comes from cinema and partner all together, you may start to know why I'm very happy with this light. This light is super small and portable, which means it doesn't take any extra room in my setup, and I can easily tuck it right next to my camera. Even though this light is small enough to fit in your pocket, it is still powerful, achieving an impressive 15 watts of power. This is more than enough to act as my fill light and actually may serve you as an impromptu key light on the go if you travel a lot. The versatility of this little thing is amazing. It goes from CCT mode with color temperatures ranging from 2500 to 10,000 Kelvin to a full color lighting offering HSI and RGB dual color modes. It also comes with 18 special effects that, even though I won't use them in this video, may be of great use in product shots as motivating lighting like I did in this shot from the TV, or in some more creative scenes. Due to its portable size and memory function for your settings, it can be used in a variety of scenarios without any hassle. You can even mount it easily through its 1/4 inch mount, and its operation through all the modes. It's quite simple and easy to use. Also, it comes with a cooling system that is super silent, allowing it to perform up to 15 watts, which is actually approximately 200 times more than RGB power for the same volume. So, with that said, I can now use a fill light that actually fits my setup, and I finally can work on my shadow side. Then, as a third type of light, comes the background light. This light illuminates the background or objects behind the subject to give the scene more depth. It can be anything from LED strips to colored lamps, and of course the same CM15 that I'm using as my fill light may also fill this role. And as you can see, I have multiple background lights, but you can start with just one pointed directly to the wall and make it pop. And if you have something like the CM15, due to its power yet portability, you can set it anywhere in your setup and play around with what suits you best. But the key here is, each one of these lights I talked about plays a crucial role in making your videos look professional and polished. And as long as you understand the role of each light, everything stacks up from there. Now, let's dive into the benefits of using this 3-light setup compared to other methods. This setup has some great advantages when it comes to lighting quality and visual appeal. First, it gives you a clean and professional look. The key light makes sure you're well lit, while the fill light smooths out any harsh shadows, making you look more polished. The background lights adds color and depth, making your videos look more dynamic and engaging. They are perfect for catching the viewer's eye and adding a bit of style to your shots. Also, on the plus side of using this 3-light setup over others is that it is pretty versatile and works well for most types of YouTube videos. Whether you are doing tutorials, vlogs or reviews, this lighting setup can be adjusted to fit your needs. And it's especially good for videos where you want to keep the focus on yourself, like talking head videos or interviews. As the core lighting setup for any studio usually includes a key light and a fill light, this 3-light setup builds on that by adding just a background light. The key light and the fill light, you already know what they do. But about the background light, you may argue that instead of that light, I should went with the backlight, just to help me create a rim or outline of light that actually could separate me better from the background. The thing is, if you look closely at what the point of a backlight and the background light is, you'll see that both of them help separate the object from the background, adding depth. But the background light also adds something else: visual interest to the background. Of course, that the backlight will help you get even more detached from the background, but between choosing the background light or the backlight, I would definitely go with the background one. Actually, thinking of this made me create this LED MSL logo with the purpose of not only serving as a background light, but since it is bright enough, it also creates a bit of a hair light, making it a hybrid between a back and a background light. By adding background light, it not only lights yourself, but also enhances the background, giving your videos a more professional and finished look. Now, before we get into how to light your setup step by step, to get the most out of this system, a few extra accessories are essential. Light stands are a must for placing your lights exactly where you need them. Diffusers or softboxes can be used on your key and fill lights to soften the light and reduce harsh shadows. But one thing I really recommend getting is the honeycomb grid, because it makes all the difference in controlling the amount of light that spills onto the walls. And if you don't have any colored background lights, you can use any practical lights you have laying around and just put some color gels on them. It is an affordable and clever way to get around this and still add that visual interest to your background. Now let's get into the steps for setting up this lighting. It is easier than you might think. But before I get into that, if you're enjoying the content so far, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Now, when it comes to lighting a room or a studio, I like to start with a blank slate. I'm going to open up the curtains, turn off all the studio lights and leave just the room light on. Alexa, desliga o estúdio.
Tudo bem.
Alexa, turn off MSpaceLog. As you can see, I think we can all agree that this looks horrible. Actually, I'm going to turn on at least the key light because I just have the room light on and I guess you can see a thing. So just bear with me for a second until I turn this on. Okay. Well, at least now you can see my face. And by just adding this key light, it already looks better. I'm shooting at night because my windows don't have curtains or blackout shades that block all the light, and I like to control how much light enters the room. Of course, I could record during the day with the curtains drawn, but since they are not opaque, some light still enters, and that natural light we can't control. Clouds might roll in, the sun might go down, and all of that affects exposure, leading to a not so professional video look. So what I like to do is close all the curtains and wait until the night falls. Now, before I kill all the room lights and give myself a black canvas to work with, I place and set all my 3 light setup ready to go. First, you need to place your key light at a 45-degree angle from where you'll be sitting or standing. Next, you need to position your fill light on the opposite side of the key light. And finally, you just need to add your background light. You can place them behind you or off to the side to light up your background. Now let's shut off the room light and start with the adjustments. Okay, so this is what I was referring to my black canvas. Normally I start with this and basically I turn on the key light first. This should be your brightest light. You want this light to highlight your face, but not hit you straight on. Ideally, you'll want it to be above your head and pointed downwards. By doing so, this will give you a more flattering look and also help avoid reflections on glasses if you wear them. Then it's time to turn the fill light, but set it to a lower intensity. This light should soften any shadows created by the key light. In this case, I'll use the CM15 for all the reasons I talked about, but also because I can adjust the brightness and set the exact color temperature to match my key light. Finally, I'll turn on the background lights. Alexa, turn on MSpaceLog.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on Studio.
Okay.
All of these background lights will give you depth and make the shot more interesting. If you're using colored LEDs or neon lights, experiment with placement to create cool effects, like I did with my background, which I still change it from time to time. The beauty of this setup is that it is flexible. For different types of videos, you can change the position of your lights slightly. For example, if you want a moodier look, you can reduce the fill light or move the key light to create more dramatic shadows. But even though you can play around with this setup, there are some things you shouldn't do. First, avoid placing the key light directly in front of you. It will flatten out your face and make you look less natural. Always aim for that 45-degree angle. Second, don't make your fill light too bright. If it is as bright as the key light, it will kill the contrast, making your video look flat. Also, it may spill some light into the background, making it lose some of its color. As you can see, I don't have it enough bright, so you can still see some shadows in this side. But if I actually turn it off, as you can see right now, this side is much more darker than it used to be. So you can play around with it and make it in a way that don't lose all the shadows to add some interest to the final shot. Lastly, don't forget to double check the background lights. Sometimes lights may fail during the shot, and that can ruin your video if you don't notice in time. It could be due to a defective light, a smart device like Alexa deciding to turn it off during the shooting, or even the batteries not lasting through a session. In fact, that's another thing I like about the CM15. At its current brightness, both as a fill and background light, it can run for more than 1 hour without needing to be plugged in for charging. This just gives me peace of mind knowing they won't turn off in the middle of the shoot. With all that checked, you just need to make your own adjustments to brightness and placement until you get that final look that really pleases your eye. Check through your camera the final look while you're in position. You can use any remote connection to your smartphone if you're filming with it, or an HDMI screen to check the camera results, and then adjust the setting of each light until you're satisfied with the results. For me, in my honest opinion, this whole look I get for this studio appeals to my eye and actually feels more professional. It might not be your style with all these background lights, but as I said, the beauty of it is that you can personalize it to your liking using just these 3 types of lights. Experiment with it and I bet you will get an awesome look for your studio. But if you're starting out, then getting all these lights and gear might be just out of reach. Even so, don't get discouraged. Watch this video right here where I'll show you how to set up your YouTube studio with just 65 bucks. I hope this guide has shed some light on your quest for your YouTube studio perfect lighting. Got any questions or opinions? Just drop them in the comments below. My name is Mario, this is MSpaceLog, and as always, keep on exploring, keep on creating. See you in my next one. Over others matters. This UV light is a light much more bright and a honeycomb grid, honeycomb grid, and the honeycomb and the honeycomb grid, but more on that later. Okay. As the name of this light comes from the versatility. This light should bump up, is that you can...